We're live. It is Saturday morning, and we are doing some light movement to start our day. We're not gonna try and go too hard on anything, just some gentle movement to slowly warm up the body, and then we'll have some reps. We'll have some reps. We'll have some stuff to help get the muscles going, so that we can counter some of the bad posture stuff that happens when we just normally hang out. D says hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, it's time. I'm tired. I woke up 20 minutes ago. I feel like I woke up 2 minutes ago. Ugh. Crawl around. All right. First things first. We gotta get our cat cow done. We gotta get a little bit of movement in the spine, and it's not gonna be fun, but we gotta do it. Let's go. If you want to do this seated, you can do these seated. It might just be a little harder to get a bunch of range of motion, but if you can, get on all fours and let's get ready to go. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. I want you to bring your belly button down towards the ground. Get that arch in your spine, back here in the low back. Bring your chest up, look up, breathe. So you can sink a little deeper into the stretch. Do a tiny little itty bitty wiggle with your butt. So you can get a little bit of extra movement, relaxation in the spine. And let's do the opposite. Mid back up into the air as high as you can. Tuck your chin to your chest. And that's one. Let's do it again. Up. And look down. And up. And down. And look up. And look down. And keep going. Nice and slow. Take your time with it. Get each of those vertebrae in the spine moving just a little bit so that whatever stiffness you got starts to be a little less stiff. Oh, and I don't know how many of these we've done, but let's just do two more and get ready to move a little bit. Look up and down and look up and down. Woo! Hopefully your spine is moving a little bit better. We're gonna add some gentle movement throughout the body, and it's gonna look like joint rotations. All right. I want you to take a look at your hands first. I want you to make some fists. Then super, super, super extend those fingers out the other way, other direction. Fists open, fists open, fists open, fists open, fists open, fists open, fists open. If you want, you can do some hip circles while you're doing that. Fists and open, and fists and open, and fists and open, and fists and open. And we're going to move on to some wrist rotations. All right. I want you to go through as much range of motion as possible in your hands. And let's go. We're going to rotate inwards first. If you are struggling to get a lot of range of motion, you might want to take one hand and use it to bring the other wrist through that range of motion. All right. In fact, that probably makes the most sense. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to slowly work our hands through their range of motion, and we're going to go the other way. Keep going. Nice and slow, but keep doing those reps. Other side, switch hands. It's going to look the exact same when I do it, but now I'm focusing on this hand. Rotate it through as much range of motion as possible without pain, without discomfort. And Other way. All right. We're warming up the hands, the wrists. If you're feeling a little bit tired, because you're like, oh man, that was a lot. That's okay. That's fine. Next, we're gonna go up the body. We're gonna move towards the center. Let's do the elbows. All right. For the elbows, their main job is to go up and down. So getting joint moving is going to be a little bit more complicated because it's got a very limited range on some of these other places. But what we're going to do is stick the elbows out a little bit. We're going to tuck our hands in so that we're doing little chicken wings. We're going to wrap all the way around. All right. So arms up, tuck your hands into your, some ribs. Bring it all the way around and keep going. We're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew, let's go the other way. In reverse, I want you to pull your arms behind you into that chicken wing. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Hopefully, your elbows are feeling a little looser. Next, we're going to move on into our shoulders. All right? We're going to go ahead and focus on lifting high first. Then we're going to focus on trying to drop as low as we can. And then we're going to throw our arms up and down. Let's go with some shoulder lifting. Bring those shoulders up. We had a comment that says, this helps me for getting into the Army. I don't know how that would do that, but I don't actually know what it takes to get into the Army. So if it does help, great. I'm glad it has some uses that I didn't know we were going to get from this show. Oh, it's hard to talk and lift your shoulders up at the same time because it compresses my chest a little bit. I have absolutely no idea how many of these we've done, but I want you to really try to shrug. I want you to pull your shoulders all the way up into your neck till your neck disappears, and then I want you to relax. Let those muscles chill out, and then do the opposite for a second. See if you can pull your shoulder blades down into the ground. Look like you're flexing for a second, but mostly just focus on bringing your shoulder blades down and together. And then let's come back up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Whew. Shake it out. Relax some of those muscles. We're going to be doing some stuff for the shoulder blades and the posture stuff soon. So we don't want to get too beat up. Not yet. Not yet, at least. All right. Now that we've done a couple of those, up and down and up and down and up and down, let's get into some arm circles. All right. You don't have to kneel. You can stand. I just happen to have my camera's positioned a little lowly angled to the ground, I guess. So I'm kneeling so you can see that I'm doing stuff. All right. I want you to focus on one arm at a time at first. If you want to, after a while, you can do 2 arms at the same time, but I want you to try and sit up nice and straight. If you have never done any of these before and you're like, this might be difficult, we're going to make it extra hard by sitting our butts up to a wall. All right, so it's optional. You don't have to. But what I want you to try is to bring your hand up into the air so that the back of your hand is pretty much touching the wall. All right, you're trying to get that range of motion from this part of the shoulder, this part of the arm. And then when you get there, you can rotate a little bit and bring that arm around. All right. I don't want you to get too excited and start rotating all sorts of ways, but honestly, it actually doesn't really matter. As long as you're doing arm rotations, if your thumb is pointing backwards and you're going backwards and you're throwing your arm out around, if you're taking the back of your hand and you're lifting up and then you're going around, if you even rotate your arm the other way, and then go the other way around. It'll just feel a little bit different, but in the actual shoulder, this part, it'll feel mostly the same. It's okay. You can do whatever you want. We're just getting some movement. Do some reps, experiment, enjoy. Ignore the thing I did where my butt was against the wall. That's not important right now. We're just warming up the muscles, warming up the joints. And oh, when your shoulders are super tired because they're like, oh man, I never do these, we can go the other way. It'll feel a little different because you're using different muscles, but we can just come on around the other way. We're getting those shoulders working. Hopefully, you have felt the difference already since we began because all we've done is slowly move the body a little bit in the joints that, you know, slowly moving up from your hands up to your arms. Hopefully, you're already feeling that your body's moving a little smoother. You're a little bit more awake. It's a little easier. I'm doing these kind of fast now, so my whole body's kind of doing this shake. You don't have to do that shake. In fact, if you want to really focus on the range of motion, focus on the form, making sure you're getting through as much range of motion as possible, you might want to isolate the movement in the arm and try to keep the upper body from moving. That was the intention of the wall earlier, but it's okay. It's not that important. All right. Once you've done a whole bunch on either side, try to make sure both arms are feeling about the same on the tiredness because we didn't count for reps. And I want to be kind at you. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to be kind at you, especially since most of you are, one-handed, either right-handed or left-handed, so one arm is probably a little better at moving and doing things than the other. Maybe that means you gotta spend even more time on the other arm. Whew. All right. We've moved from the fingers over to the shoulders. Let's see what else we got. Can I start? Ricky says, "Can I start tapping to get you famous? You're awesome." Amazing, thank you. Yeah, feel free to keep tapping, but I would also like it if you did the exercises. Okay, so let's see. We have done a whole bunch of stuff up to the neck. Let's move on to the neck. I want you to, preferably, find something to sit on, nice and sturdy, and not just the floor. But you can do these from the floor. Ugh. But the goal is to sit up nice and straight. For most of us, sitting on the floor on your butt is not the easiest, so find a seat that you can sit up nice and tall and straight in. All right. Next, we're going to do the same thing, the reps before our neck. All right. So if something feels intense, something feels painful, feel free to stop right away. You don't need to keep going. But if it's just general discomfort because you don't use that part of your neck very often, that might be okay. Cool. All right. So we're going to work on range of motion that your body should have. We're going to look directly to the left. We're going to look directly to the right without moving the upper body. It's going to come from the neck. All right. So I want you to find something that's about, eye level on your left side. Find something that's about eye level on your right side. If you can get directly to your left and right, perfect. If you can go slightly further back and aim for something slightly further behind you, amazing. All right. Let's begin. Look directly to the left and directly to the right. Take your time. There's no rush. We're just warming up our joints, warming up our muscles. And, oh, wow. It's already feeling way better in my neck. I'm already looking much further. All right. 5-ish. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My goal is hopefully for you to take some of these very, very basic joint warm-ups, very simple joint warm-ups. Hopefully you find a couple that you really like, really help you get unstiff, and then start using them in your regular life. Because most of these, they're not crazy. If you're doing wrist warm-ups, they just look like this. The craziest looking one is the elbow one. It looks like you're doing like a weird breaststroke, and your elbows look crazy. But all the other ones generally just make you take up no extra space at all, and you're just doing a little bit of movement. All right, that was our neck from side to side. Now I want to tuck my chin down to my chest, lift my head up so it's just looking up slightly behind where you're sitting. Okay? I'm going to try and get that range of motion. I'm going to rotate this way so you can see what I'm doing, and hopefully that helps. We do a little bit of this during cat-cow, so you might already have a little bit of movement going compared to some of the other stuff that we've done, but let's do a little bit more. We'll do 10 reps, all right? Down, chin down to the chest. Feel that stretch in the backside. Ooh, back of my neck feels a little funny. Last weekend, I had a weird thing going on, and now it seems like there's still some residual. Next, we bring the chin up. Look up, look up, look up, look up. See if you can look slightly behind where you're sitting. If you can't get there, that's fine. Just, over time, we're aiming for that range of motion. All right? Chin down to chest. Struggling a little bit on the chin and chest. And chin up. Look back. Again, if anything feels crazy intense, feel free to not go that hard. Feel free to not go that far. If you spend a little bit of time doing this a little bit every day, every couple of days, your joints will appreciate you for it, and maybe you'll unlock a little bit of range of motion while you're at it. Is there an exact number that you should do? I think for most people, what's most important is that you feel ready to take on whatever else you have to do for the rest of the day. All right. I find that 10 or so reps is enough to get my body warmed up so I don't wake up and have that stiffness in some parts of the body. And of course, we're doing a lot of reps right now. You don't have to do every single joint like we're about to do. That's not what's important. What's important is going, oh man, why is my neck so stiff? And then spending a couple of seconds doing whatever you need to do to make them feel a little bit better. All right. I have absolutely no idea how many reps we did, but I feel like it was way more than 10. So let's move on and we'll change up the angle of the neck that we're working on. All right. We've looked left, we've looked right, we've looked up, we've looked down. Now I want you to rotate the head a little bit. This one's a little bit more complex, so I'm going to scoot a little closer to the cameras. And my goal here is for you to keep your shoulders, your chest, all that roughly level in the same space. And then I want you to rotate your head in a way where your ears are coming down to your shoulder. All right. I don't want you to suddenly start looking down like this. I want you to keep looking forward, and I want you to bring your ears down to your shoulder without trying to either rotate this way or rotate this way. Cool? It's going to be a little harder to get right off the bat. So you might want to sit against the wall and see if you can rest the same back part of your head against the wall. And when you're sliding down, the wall will help keep you in your straight line. All right. We want to do this like 10-ish times. All right. So all that movement is coming from the head leaning to the left. Feel that stretch out here. Lean to the right. Feel that stretch out here. Let's go. Boom. Take your time with it. No rush. 2, 3. I'm counting it, but if you need to take more time, you feel like, oh, this stretch feels amazing, feel free to stop and hang out there for a little bit. It is never too late to join. Join in. Most of these movements are going to be really great for you, even if you get like 2 or 3 reps. And then once you know about them, you'll be like, wait, what? All I need is 15 seconds of ease, and it'll loosen some of that tension from whatever it is that I've been doing, sitting, sleeping. Maybe your mattress is super soft. You've been getting cupped into a little bent up little position, and your back is a little achy after waking up. All the things that we're trying to do for the next, or we've been doing for that last 20 something minutes, and probably for the next 10, 20 minutes, is just to get the joints moving, get some of these muscles woken up, and help you get unstiff. All right. The secret to stiffness is movement. And if you just injured something, you have a sharp pain, relax, rest. But if you have stiffness, if you got like aches and pains, most of the time, getting a little tiny bit of movement is going to be much better for you than resting more. Cool? All right. I have absolutely no idea how many of these next things we've done. I say 10 all the time, but I keep on doing way more than 10 because I start talking about whatever else I'm thinking about. All right. If you've done all the next stuff, we've gone back and forth, we've gone side to side, we've done the rotation, we're probably ready to move on to something else. That was hands to wrists to elbows to shoulders and arm circles, and now we've covered the neck. I think we're gonna go back and do some more spine because for most of us, our butt and our spine is the most pain in the butt area of the body. Let's get back into some cat cows now that the rest of the body has loosened up. We started with cat cows because that's usually the first thing that I suffer from the most. But you might have felt your wrists, you might have felt a whole bunch of other parts of your body while you were doing them. So let's do them again after warming up the body and see how that does this time around. Whew. All right, hands down beneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Doesn't have to be perfect, but adjust a little if you need to. And let's go. Bring that belly button down towards the ground. Put that arch in your spine. Lift the chest up. Lift the head up. And whew, see if that feels different than before. If you were on before. If you weren't on before, then just enjoy. All right, we're doing the opposite. We're going to lift the mid back up as high into the air as we can. We're going to compress. We're going to tuck that chin into our chest. We are ultra slouching right now. And then we're going to come on back. Do the opposite. Ooh, lift the chin up. Chest up. Oof. Breathe. Ah. When you exhale, you let a whole bunch of pressure out of your chest, and that lets you move a little bit better. All right? It's sort of like when you have a balloon and you're trying to fold the balloon animal. If there's too much air in there, it's hard to fold the balloon animal. Not that everybody has folded a balloon animal, but you can imagine if it has too much air, it's going to be hard to fold the balloon animal. But if you let out some of the air, there's a little less pressure on that rubber. It's easier to fold the balloon animal. This analogy really ran out of words real fast because I don't know anything about folding balloon animals. All right, tuck your chin, lift your mid back, lift up, bring the belly button down. Ah, chin down, chin up, chin up, chin down. Chin up. Ooh. That is a little bit of movement in our spine. Hopefully, you're feeling a little better there. All right. If you can, come on back up into standing. We're going to work on our hips. We're going to work on some hip circles. All right. I want you to keep your legs hips width apart. If your balance is not so great, feel free to grab something to hold on to in case you need some support. But otherwise, we're going to slowly pop that hip out on one side. We're going to scoot it around the butt. Come on back around the other side. We're going to just hula hoop a little bit. All right. This is one of those things where once you get really comfortable doing them, you can totally integrate them into anything that you want, like waiting in line, but it looks ridiculous if you do it. So, it's one of those things where if you were waiting in line, waiting for your grocery shopping at Stop and Shop, you'd be like, oh, hey, this is a really awesome moment for me to do a little bit of movement because I'm just waiting here with a big old thing of food and I wish I could make use of this time in a better way. But alas, it's gonna give you crazy looks, so you probably won't be able to pull that off. Maybe stick with the wrist rotations. All right, keep on going. The first couple of reps won't feel like anything. Probably you'll just be confused. You'll be like, "Oh man, what's going on?" But as you do more of these, as you pick up the tempo, and as you start thinking about it less, and you just kind of let your brain wander while you slowly work your way through the angles. Maybe you'll find some spots that are a little bit more stiff, a couple of muscles that are a little bit more tender, and that just means you probably need a little bit more reps. Take your time. You don't have to go fast. I know I'm going pretty speedy. Oh. Some places in the left and right side of my hip are always a little tender because I do a lot of side splits. If you're joining in for the first time, most of the lives that I do Monday through Sunday night, so every day, 7 days a week, is about side splits and hip mobility. So I'm constantly doing stuff here in the hips, and then we do a little bit of hip circles at the end of our show in the evenings. But now we get to do a whole bunch of them to help wake up. And these are nice. I'm really enjoying this. All right, let's move on. We're gonna move down into our knees. All right, your knees, just like the elbows, for the most part, look like they work in one direction, right? Like they lift the lower leg up towards your butt. But the movement that we're gonna do is gonna be a little bit of a rotation too. All right, what I want you to do, and if you have some troubles with balance, this will be very important for you to be close to a wall or something to give yourself a little boost when you need it. We want to pop into a tiny bit of a squat. All right, so from the side, it might look a little bit like this. And we're going to put some pressure, hold our legs sort of on the thighs for, just having something to hold. You don't have to do it this way. But the goal here is to lean that knee slightly out to the side, slightly forward, slightly out to the side, and bring it back up. All right, we're trying to do some circles with our knees. And take it nice and slow. You don't have to throw your whole entire foot off to the side, right? Your feet don't have to come off the ground. In fact, if you're just starting, try to just experiment with how little you can make this circle without your feet coming off the ground. Because when your feet come off the ground, you're not actually getting that range of motion. It's your feet that's, you know, not there. So keep on doing those little rotations. And bring the knees to left, forward, right, and come on back. These do not have to be big circles. In fact, they probably should be very small circles. And if you're ready, try to go the other way. Whew. If you got some issues in your knees, these might be a very gentle way to get a little bit of movement, a little bit of motion into the joints. And the reason why that's important is because your joints, they don't usually have blood vessels going to them. Blood vessels deliver blood, right? Those are nutrients, they clear waste, they give you oxygen and all sorts of other great nutritious things from the rest of your body working, but your joints don't get that. And so they have another system called synovial fluid, and that synovial fluid is basically just some goopy liquid in your joints. And throughout your body. But the only way for your body to get that synovial fluid in the joints is through movement. The only way to clear the waste and get some fresh synovial fluid in is through movement. So if you've been babying a joint for a really long time, give a little gentle movement a try. You don't have to start jumping and climbing and doing crazy things. A couple of these very, very gentle joint movements will do. All right. I don't know if we've changed direction, but at some point you should definitely change direction. We've been doing the knees for quite a while because I just started going on story tangents, and should probably get better at counting these. All right. Hopefully your knees are feeling a little bit looser, a little bit more chill. You're proud, and you're like, oh wait, my knees can do this. This is cool. Look at all these cool motions. That's a really good place to be. All right. We're gonna move on down to our ankles. We're doing ankle rotations. For a lot of us, your feet might be kind of a crazy area that you haven't experimented, haven't explored in a while. They just go in shoes and then you just go do whatever. So, if you need it, feel free to sit down on a chair, on the floor, whatever is comfortable for you, and slowly work your ankle a little bit. If you can cross your leg across your body, great, go ahead and do that. If you can't, you might have to work a little harder to hold that leg while you experiment. We're doing some ankle circles. All right. I want you to grab your foot, bring it through its full range of motion, and see what it can do. You might get here and be like, oh, wait, this isn't very much of a circle at all. That's okay. And go the other way. Ooh, ankle's cracking. All right. Once you've done a couple on one side, let's switch over to the other side. We're going to come back to these in a slightly different way. Just getting them prepared with a couple of reps. All right. I know for certain after driving for a couple hours, because I do a lot of road tripping. My best friend lives 4 hours away, so oftentimes it's a it's a big long trip to go visit. After doing a lot of driving, that first step that I take out of the car, I'm completely destroyed. I'm like, ugh. And my ankles don't seem to work. My calves don't seem to work. My thighs don't seem to work. That first step out of the car is just crazy. All right. So if you feel the same way, we probably need a little extra love, a little extra movement in our bodies during that 4 hour drive. How you do that, I don't know. I haven't figured that one out. But I guess at least one ankle can be doing little ankle rotations while you're driving, but probably not. Don't send signals to one foot because the other foot might also start to respond, and we don't want that for your gas pedal. We don't want that for your brakes. All right. So don't do any of these ankle things while you're driving. But when you stop, when you're ready to get out of the car, maybe take 10 seconds to do a little bit of movement in the ankles, maybe a little bit of movement in the knees and the hips, and see if that helps you before you take your first step out of the car. But most of the time I'm stopping because I really, 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 really need to pee. I've held it for way too long already. So I tend to not remember to do any movement to prepare myself. I just jump out of the car and I go, oh wow, my legs don't work. And then after the first couple of steps, it gets a little bit better. I run to the bathroom, everything's fine. So where is this long story going? Hope you've been watching that we're still doing ankle circles, but instead of using our hands to do them, we're using our foot muscles to do them. If your leg muscles are getting super tired right away and you're like, no way, I can't do this, well, good. It's good that you know that, and now you can have something to build some strength towards. All right? We are still working on those ankle circles. And you don't have to do it the way that I'm showing you. There's so many other variations. We did the one where we're doing it manually with our hands. We're doing this one where you're doing it with your own muscles. And third one that we got is using the floor. If you bring your whole leg and your whole hip around, and now that you're a little bit more familiar with what your ankle can do, you can absolutely use the floor to help you to do ankle circles. Just like how you were using your hands to bring your your wrist through your wrist circle, the floor being there is going to help bring itself through is range of motion. And you can take your time with these. I clearly have not been focusing on how many reps we've been doing, and I clearly have not been focused on which direction we're going. So it is completely up to you to rotate, give either leg a little bit more love. Based on the condition of my ankles right now, the feeling in my ankles, I think I spent way more time on one leg than the other. So I'm going to just spend a little bit of time on this leg, and we'll get ready to wrap this part of the show up. All right? We're going to move on into some strengthening work. So far, my right ankle is making a lot of noise. Hello. If you're hearing a lot of noise, hearing a lot of cracking, that's okay. If it's not painful, if it doesn't suck, it's probably fine. It's probably just, the same knuckle cracking stuff that is happening, except in your bigger joints. All right. Whew. Cool. I think we're about ready with our joint prep. Let's move on into some posture stuff. All right. Most of the posture stuff that we're going to do is going to be addressing some of these muscles in your upper back, contracting them, making them feel nice and strong, usually just tired, but nice and strong to help undo some of that forward neck, that relaxed shoulder, that rounding that we normally get into when we're sitting, driving, reading, computering, whatever it is that we're doing. And here we go. The last question that came in was any advice for better posture? Strengthen some of the muscles that sitting tends to relax too much. In this case, when we do this, all of the muscles in the upper back tend to get super relaxed, super long, and we're going to train on pulling them up together like this. Whee! All right, let's do it. Get rid of all the stuff. We need to come to the floor, unfortunately. So if you're not ready to go to the floor, take a second, find some place, maybe find a nice cushion for your hips. Might be a couch cushion, might be a decorative pillow, whatever it is that you need. Slowly, slowly, come on down to the ground. I'm gonna see where in the camera I'm laying down. Yeah, it looks about right. Cool. All right, lay down. It's Saturday morning. All right. From here, we're gonna start contracting muscles in our back. All right. The first move that we're gonna do, I want you to focus on just your upper half of your body, not your upper back, but your upper half of the body. So we're gonna do the whole back. You can put your hands down so that your palms are about at your face level, and we can do this as a cobra first, right? We can do this nice and gentle. If you lift your body up a little bit, you look up, just like we did the cat cows. Lift your chin, pick up your chest, feel that stretch in your low back. Great, this is amazing. All right, now that was us using our arms to push ourselves up, right? What we want to do next is do the equivalent using our own muscles. So, if you can keep your hands more or less there. I want you to use your muscles to come on up, hit as close a position as possible, and then come back down. Whew. Oh. If that was crazy, you're like, what are you talking about? I still don't understand. Feel free to stick your hands down and cobra a little bit. Alright? You don't have to stick your hands super low to the ground and do like a really intense cobra like this. You can stick your hands over here and just push your chest up a little bit. That's going to be most similar to what you're going to be able to do just by contracting your regular muscles. All right. So once you've done a couple of experiments, you kind of know what it's supposed to feel like. Let's do a couple. Let's do 5. I'm going to stick my arms by my side because I feel like when they're up here, they kind of get in the way. It makes me want to push my hands down into the ground. And what I want is to contract the muscles. So I'm going to let them flop over here, and let's go. I want you to inhale and come on up. Inhale. Look up. Exhale down. That's 1. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 2. Let's do it again. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's 3. Keep going. 4. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. That is 5. You're probably going to feel it most here, sort of like your mid back. It's not necessarily the low back, but it's just a little bit above it. And that is good. That's 5 using those muscles. Now, we're going to try and lift our legs. All right, we're going to use some glutes, we're going to use some low back, we're going to do the rest of the body. And now, this time, you can put your hands wherever you want for a little bit of support, for a little bit of stability. But you're going to need to wiggle your hips, find a comfortable spot, because we're going to be going, boom, lifting the legs up, back behind us. We're going to contract here in the low back. We're going to contract the glutes. We're going to contract the hamstrings. And it's going to be tough. My head is completely cut off, but good thing I'm wearing some earbuds to act as microphones, so you don't have to see my face. Let's go. I want you to rest. If you want, you can put your arms up and put your head straight down on top of it. I might be getting cut off, so let me scoot. And you might want to do something like this. So your neck stays in a nice neutral position, right? We talked about finding a comfy spot for your hips so you can apply some pressure. And let's get ready to lift the legs up. Just do your best. If you can't get them very high, don't worry about it. Just do your best. I want you to come up on the inhale, come down on the exhale. Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 3. We're going to slow it down. We're going to hold for a little bit, right? Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 4. Let's go. Number 5. Let's wrap it up. Inhale up. Exhale down. Woo. That is us doing some gentle light work to get our muscles going. Now we're going to move on. I'm going to introduce you to the other 2 exercises that we're going to do today. All right? Trying to decide which one I want to do first. I think we're going to stay down. You don't have to come up. Ugh. Roll over. Ah, this is nice. It's like going back to bed, except I'm sweaty. All right, grab your heels, bring them in towards your butt. The next exercise we're going to do is called a glute bridge. All right, we're going to try our bestest to flex our glutes, to push our hips up into the air, and it's going to look a little bit like this. If you keep your heels closer to your butt, it will be a little bit easier. All right, contract the glutes, lift your hips. Focus on the contraction in the glutes. Poke them to double check that they are working hard. Sometimes you're able to do these with other muscles, and that is the exact problem we're trying to solve. All right? We're trying to wake up our glutes. We're trying to use our glutes. We're trying to make sure your body knows we want the glutes working when we are standing up nice and straight. So this is not us standing, but our body is relatively straight. Cool? All right. Stick those hips up into the air. Feel the contraction, that pull in your quads. If you're feeling that tension in your quads are really intense, you can push your heels out a little bit further, but it's going to make your glutes work even harder. So, compromise. Whew. We should probably hang out here for a certain amount of time. I've been explaining details for a while, so let's say 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Flex those glutes. Flex them hard. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, drop your hips, let them come on down. Okay. Now you know what the second exercise is going to look like. Since we're already here, let's do the opposite of what we just did. All right. We're going to do some ab work. We're going to do some core work. I think the glute stuff, technically, I'd count that as core work, but we're going to do some more core work. What I want you to do is make sure there's no space underneath your low back right now. All right. If you got a big butt, this is going to be extra work. If you got a little butt, it'll be a little easier. But we want to make sure there's no space underneath our low back. All right. That means we want to tilt the pelvis. You might be able to lift your knees up towards your chest, and you might be able to get that back to flatten out. All right. Now, let the legs sort of go back a little bit and try to keep the low back where it is, and try to maintain that spine alignment where there is no space underneath your back. All right. From here, you can just call it this and wrap it right here. But if you want to make it a little bit harder, you can lift your heels up into the air. You can extend your legs out a little bit. Feel some crazy contraction going on in your core, in your abs. It's going to be much harder to keep your low back on the ground when you stick your legs out in front. And if you want, you can extend your arms up overhead as well. You don't have to do all those things. You can keep it simple. You can keep it easier if you want. All right. But find whichever version you want to struggle with, and let's go 15 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. If you feel like these numbers are short, you're like, that's so fast. That's it. This is just us telling you what to expect in the next couple of rounds. We're going to do a couple of rounds of these. 2, 1, 0. All right. Whew. What did we do? We did the glutes, we did the core, we did the back lifting thing, and now it's time for the worst one of them all. We're going to do some wall angels. All right. I talked about this briefly earlier, where when we slouch, when our shoulders come down, a whole bunch of these muscles in the upper back, they're getting really loose and they're getting real long to get us into this position. And the opposite is happening. Our chest muscles get really tight, get really compact because they're never stretched out anymore, right? So we're going to try to stretch out our chests. We're going to try to contract our back And when we do both at the same time, there's going to be some mobility work. It's going to feel really uncomfortable, and that's okay. That's us undoing hours and hours and hours of our other behaviors, all right? If you can, I want you to come up against the wall, all right? I want you to get that low back to touch the wall, just like before while we were practicing on the floor. And if you are seated, this will be more straightforward. But if you're standing, you might want to stand with your feet a couple inches in front of the wall so that you can move your pelvis around and stick your low back to the wall, all right? Whichever version works for you is cool with me. Next, I want you to get your back up against the wall so that your chest is up. I want you to rest the back of your head against the wall so that you get this nice tall posture for a second. And we're going to elbow our enemies in the face. Hoo-ah! Right here. And then hoo-ah! Over here. See if you can get your elbows to touch the wall. Right now, your back muscles, your shoulder blades might be doing a little crazy thing, contracting together, and it might feel a little bit weird. That's okay. All right? From here, we're going to try and rotate our hands up so that they can get into this position. You might be able to do this with one arm pretty easily, but as soon as you bring the other arm, it's about to get real hard. All right. So what we're working on here is shoulder mobility. The exercise, if you're going to Google it, is called wall angels. There's nothing angelic about this. This is an awful exercise. It's going to feel really uncomfortable, but it's only going to feel uncomfortable because our upper backs are not trained very well. All right. And this is including myself. And when I say uncomfortable, I really mean it. I don't like these at all, but I know that they're important. So we're going to do them together to make them a little bit more fun so that we actually do them. All right. So what have we covered? Low back is against the wall. Elbows. Elbow your enemy in the face. Rotate your arms so that you're giving everybody high fives, and try your best to get your wrists to touch the wall at the same time. Most of us, we're not going to be able to get anywhere close to touching the wall with our wrists, and that's okay. Just try your best. All right. From here, we're going to add a little bit of movement. I want you to bring your arms down. So elbow to the ground. Still trying to rotate your wrists out. Let's go up. Stick your elbows to the wall as best as you can, and if you can't, that's all right. Just try your bestest to move in that direction. Let's keep going. We're gonna do like 5 this time. Up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, and that's like 5. That's plenty. Remember, the goal is to not, do these little air push-up, raising the roof things. The goal is to bring your shoulder blades, let me get real close to the camera, to bring your shoulder blades from this position to this position and then do some extra stuff. All right. It's not enough to just be able to pull your shoulder blades together and stand there like this and be a robot for the rest of your life. Be like, this is good posture. It's not how that works, right? You got to be able to do stuff. So we're working on that shoulder mobility so we can pull our shoulders back with our own muscles, and then we can actually do stuff while in that position. We can be a little bit more natural with those muscles when they're being pulled back. If you just turn into a tin man because you're like, look at my muscles, that it's not that useful. It's just gonna make you look weird. All right, so we're gonna take those 4 exercises. I think it was 4. We're gonna just do a couple of loops. All right, we're gonna get a couple of reps done, get a couple of sets done, and then we'll be ready to wrap. Cool. All right, come on. I think we're going to the floor. Right, let's go to the floor. Lay down. Oh, this is so nice. Okay. We talked about lifting the upper half of your body, right? We talked about lifting the lower half of your body. If you're new to this, you're not strong enough to lift yourself up yet, feel free to put your fingertips down and give yourself a little bit of support, all right? Try to get your muscles to give 100% and then support yourself a little bit more to see what more you can get out of this exercise. And then if you're feeling like a badass, feel free to combine both of them at the same time. All right. So if you can lift your legs, lift your upper body all at the same time, do it because you'll get so much more out of the exercise. These are called Supermans. Cool. All right. Let's go. Lay down. You can rest your forehead on your hands if you want. And we're going to inhale, and we're going to come up, we're going to exhale, we're going to come down. Ready? Let's go. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. Relax. Whew. If this is our first one of inhale up, it's going to be crazy. Let's go again. Inhale up. Exhale down. Again. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 3. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 4. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 5. We're going to go for more than 5 this time around. But you can get a tiny little bit of rest here for a second. And we'll do 5 more. So we're doing a total of 10. Let's go. 6. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 3 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Relax. One of the notes I made earlier was if you want to give yourself a little bit of support, give your muscles 100% and then use your arms to help lift you up a little bit more. All right? That might cause you problems if you start pushing really, 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 really hard. Okay? You don't need to push that hard. We're just trying to give you a little bit of boost to make the movement a little bit easier so that you feel some of the contraction down your spine. All right? We're not trying to get into some crazy position because our arms are doing all the work. We're trying to strengthen our back muscles. So if you were doing some version where your arms are doing all the work, just make sure your back is doing more work next round. All right? I think it's time to roll over, and it's time to work on some glute bridges. Turn on around. Let's get ready to flex those glutes, lift those hips up into the air, and let's go. Tuck your heels close-ish to your butt if you can. Lift your hips up by contracting your glutes, and double check that your glutes are firing. We're hanging out here. We're going to hang out for 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. If you want, you can try to flex the abs too, get a little stronger in this plank position. You can try to come up higher so that you're almost hanging just on your shoulder blades. Your hips are super high. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. But the most important part is to flex the glutes hard. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, relax. Come on down. Oh, that's nice. Chilling. All right. Some ab work is on the table. Let's bring the low back to the ground so there's no space. Tuck your knees into your chest a little bit to help with that motion. And let's see if you can keep your hips in an angle where your low back does not come off the ground. All right. And once you found it, hold it. Lift those legs if you want. Extend your arms if you want. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds as well. 30, 29, 28, 27. Feel free to take breaks. Make sure that the most important part is your low back is not coming off the ground. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, relax. Let everything flop to the floor. Try not to hit your head. That is almost everything. We got the last part. We got some wall angels. When you're ready, come on up. Let's get into some wall angels. If you can, stick your butt up against the wall while you're seated. If you prefer standing, feel free to stand. Put your feet slightly in front of you so you can tuck your butt a little bit. and get your low back to touch the wall, just like we were doing for the core stuff that we just finished. All right. From here, we're elbowing our enemies in the face, rotating our arms up so that our wrists are trying to touch the wall the best that we can. We're gonna go up and down. We're gonna go 5 reps. All right. Down. Really try to bring your wrists to the wall. Rotate those arms and lift those arms back up. Try to keep your low back touching the wall. Don't suddenly start going and use the to get your wrists to touch the wall. All right, we're trying to get it to come from the shoulder, not from the low back. So flatten that back, get back into position, and let's keep going. Up. I assume we did 1 rep before, but we're gonna do 4 more. All right, down. Keep on trying. Don't forget what the goal is. Keep the elbows against the wall the longest you can. Lift those wrists up. Whew, that's 2. And keep going. 3. If you catch your wrist, your elbows going away from the wall, feel free to just take a second, contract those muscles, and keep going. No need to feel anything other than I gotta keep pulling on those muscles. Ah, I think we've done about 5. Oh, oh man. If your back's tired, perfect. Now you know about the wall angels and why they're more like wall devils. All right, let's continue. We're gonna go back to the top of our circuit. We're gonna do the back stuff, the Supermans, and we'll go do 1 more round and we'll call it there, I think. Because what's the time? It's 57. Oh wow, man, time is flown by today. I think probably because I did the joint stuff for so long. All right, let's lay on back down. Exhale, breathe, relax. And let's get ready for this final one. We're doing 10. You already know all the details you need to know because we've done 2 rounds of these, I think. So let's inhale up, exhale down. We're doing 10. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's nice. That's 1. Ready? Let's go again. Inhale up. Hold, hold, hold. Exhale down. That's 2. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. That's 3. Inhale up. Hold. Exhale down. I think that's 4. Oh man, we're almost halfway. Oh, that's good. Okay. Let's go. Inhale up. Exhale down. Oh, that's 5. Whew. Halfway. Take a little break. Shimmy your butt. Shake it out. Relax some of these low back muscles for a hot second. And let's go. Number 6. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 7. Inhale up. Exhale down. That's 8. Yeah, 2 more. We're going to hold that middle position. We're inhaled and we're holding our breath. And then we're going to come down as slow as we can. All right. Inhale up. Hold. 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 Slowly come down with control. That's 9. We're going to rest extra long in between this one and the next one. We're going to do it similarly for the last rep, for the 10th rep. Because this is our last rep, we could work a little harder, right? Oh, breathe. Chill. Do a little wiggle in your hips if you want to loosen up some of these low back muscles. And let's get ready to go. We're going to inhale. We're going to hold, hold, hold. Exhale. Slowly come back down. And let's do it. Inhale up. Hold, 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 hold some more. Keep holding. Exhale down. With control. Slow. That is all of our Supermans. All right. Roll on over. Chill on the floor for a second. Catch your breath. And let's get ready to do some glute bridges. Heels up towards your butt. Lift those hips up. Up, 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 up. See if you can come up to your shoulders, like the top of your shoulders, by lifting your back so high. If you're a little bit lower, that's okay. Just try your best. And we're going to hold for like 45 seconds today. Let's go. 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39. Flex those glutes. 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Let that low back support you. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're done. Let your glutes unclench. Oh, drop your butt to the floor. Breathe. Relax. Oh man, that was intense. All right, time to do some core work. Let's bring the knees in, shift that low back so it's nice and flat on the ground. You can't get a pencil underneath you. And once your back is flat, your low back is flat, extend those legs as best as you can. We're going to do 45 seconds on this one too, all right? If you need to take breaks, go ahead. If you're ready to stop at 30, feel free to stop. But I want you to try your best, all right? If you always stop at 30, you don't know if you're capable of 45. So let's get ready to go. Extend those legs, extend those arms, optional. 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 16, 15, 14. Adjust if you need to. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Flop onto the floor. Relax. Try not to hit your head. That was our exercise. Whew. That means we got one awful thing left. We got some more wall angels. Alright, when you're ready, come on back up. You can rest your back against the wall, either seated or standing. I think I've done standing the last 2 times, so I'm gonna do this one seated. Alright, nice. Sitting down. Whew. Alright, assuming that your enemies are also sitting, elbow your enemies in the face. Lift your wrists up and feel the suffering. Try to keep your low back to the wall as best as you can and not do a big arch to do this. And we're going to do 5 reps up and down. Ready? Let's go up and down and up and down. If your arms are super sweaty, it's okay if your elbows are not dragging against the wall. Just try your best to open up as much as you can the whole time. All right? 2, down, 3, down, 4. Keep breathing. Try not to hold your breath. 5. Oh, did we do 5? All right, I guess we're doing 6 now. 6. I mean, we already did 6. Let's do 10. 7. Keep going. Contract those muscles. Stretch out your chest. Contract your upper back. Elbows to the wall. 9. And let's go. 10. All right. Okay. Slouch down. Do whatever you gotta do. Undo the contraction. Let the chest muscles get all tight again. And that is our show, I'm pretty sure. I'm sweating. Ugh. All right. What did we cover today? We started the day nice and gentle, hopefully because we were all just getting up, starting our days. Mostly I was just starting my day because I woke up about 20 minutes before. And the joint work that we did was just gentle joint rotations. They were basically starting with opening your hand, closing your hand, opening your hand, closing your hand, making a tight fist, and then doing the exact opposite, really trying to spread your fingers back behind you, right? And then we did some wrist circles in both directions. Then we did some elbow circles, which look a little bit funny. They look like you're trying to make little chicken wings, trying to tuck your hands into your ribs and then bring them all the way around. And then we do them in reverse, right? To do elbow rotations. We did some shoulder circles, some arm circles, back and forth. We did, what else did we do? We did some rotations for the neck. So we looked all the way to the right, all the way to the left, whatever direction that you're viewing the content in. Because one of the platforms, maybe both of the platforms, like mirror the image, or maybe I see it mirrored and then you see it the other way. I don't know, whatever, doesn't matter. We did the neck from side to side. We did the neck looking up, slightly behind you, all the way down to chin to chest. And then we did this thing with the neck where we tilted our heads. We try to bring our ears down to our shoulders, right? The shoulder's not moving. The head is doing all the work. But we're trying to limit the amount of rotation that you're doing while you're doing the side to side, all right? So you might, next time you do these, put your back to a wall, have the back of your head touching the wall, and then keep that part of your head touching the wall the whole time while you bring your neck down to the side. And after neck, what do we do? We did some hip circles. We did some knee circles. We did some ankle circles. And we actually completely skipped the toes. Let's add in some toes. Let's take a couple seconds. I want you to try your best because this is really good for everybody, right? I want you to try your best to put your weight sort of into your heels, into the ball of your foot, and see if you can lift your toes up as high as you can. All right, something like this. If you can't do it, that's okay. Just try your best. And then I want you to do the opposite. I want you to bring your toes down into a fist, like you're about to punch somebody with your foot. And I don't know where I'm going with it, but I want you to bring your toes down and grip something. All right. The goal would be to be able to pick stuff up. Do I have anything? No, I do. I do. This kind of your toes should be plenty capable of being dexterous. Maybe not super strong at picking up things, but you should be able to do some cool stuff with your feet. All right, because they got lots of muscles. They're designed to be very similar in the number of bones, number of things that our hands do. So don't sleep on that foot exercise. And I want you to try a couple of weird things now. All right, this isn't necessarily our normal joint exercises. I wouldn't call this normal at all, but we're gonna work on our feet a little bit. I want you to try to see if you can pull your toes and make that fist with your toes, but put some weight into it this time. So you're leaning into the toes a little bit, and see if you can pull yourself forward using just your toes. If you can, great. If you cannot, just try your best. It's okay. If your toes are starting to hurt, feel free to call it right there and don't keep going. But if you can start working on those, your feet will get really strong, and that helps support the arch of the foot and a whole bunch of other things. If you're finding that it is way too hard to bring your toes in towards, pulling yourself forward, you can step on a towel instead, and then you can try to pull the towel towards you with those toes. That will build the same set of muscles, and it'll be much easier, and you can see the towel getting pulled, and you'll be like, look at me, I'm so cool, I can make towels move with my toes. Next, do we have anything next? Let's talk about range of motion, what your feet should be able to do. All right, you should be able to lift your heel up so that the toes are flat and your heel is basically straight up, like 90-degree angle. All right. I know that most of us on mobile right now can't see my feet because the chat is in the way, but your toes should be able to do something similar to this. All right. Come all the way up. That does not mean your calf raises have to be this crazy when you do calf raises, but know that you should have that much of bringing your toes back. If you don't have it yet, don't worry about it. Just know that that's something you can work on. All right. And we can do the same in the opposite direction. You can curl your hands and you can curl your feet. You can bring your toes in the opposite direction. When you do that, you might feel a crazy stretch right here in the front of your ankle. And that could be really nice. All right. Make sure that you do these on both legs. Get a little bit of that movement. We do ankle circles, right? If you really emphasize that forward portion when we do the ankle circles using the floor, your toes will come into this position where your heels are real high and your toes are, sort of bent and flat on the ground. So you don't necessarily have to go out of your way to do those because you can incorporate it into another movement. What else we got? We did the flexy things, we did the other thing, we did the grabby things. Your toes, just like your fingers, have the ability to move independently of each other. Most of us aren't going to be able to tap into any of that because you just haven't done it at all, and that's okay. But you can start nice and gentle, all right? You can start by trying to lift your big toe off the ground. See if you can balance your weight. So it's the same as lifting all your toes up, right? Your weight is sort of on the ball of your foot and on your heel. And if you can sort of experiment and play with it until you figure out how to lift your toes up and only keep your toes up while bring the rest of your toes down, that'd be cool. You can probably do the opposite. Bring only your toes down and lift everything else up. Potentially spread your toesies out to the side. And you're probably really good at squishing them together because we all wear shoes. And that's probably all I got. I can't think of anything else I got for the feet. But all those motions that we talked about, spreading the toes, bringing them back together, grabbing things, pulling yourself forward, those are all things that your feet can do. Absolutely can do. So if you want to experiment, you want to try some new things, you want to make your feet a little bit stronger because you want to address some stability things, you want to address some weakness there, those are all things you can play with. But most importantly, if you take it at like a less intense level, it'll be a nice joint warm up. All right, that's it. That's it for me. Wow, it's 10:13. I thought we were wrapping up the exercise at like 9:57. I can't believe we just went for another 20 minutes. Okay, Houston Mommy says, thank you so much. You're very welcome. I hope we got something valuable from the show. I hope you got something that you realized, oh, hey, that actually really helped. And you can take that into your regular life and just start doing some rotations here and there and go, wee, and hopefully you move a little bit better. You feel a little bit looser. You feel a little less stiff and just enjoy life a little bit more. Cool. All right. I'm going to take a look at the chat. Oh, scoop my butt all the way over. I haven't had any time to talk about what I do for the rest of my life. So this specific life where we work on sort of like waking up, working on our stiffness, working on our posture a little bit. This happens on Saturday and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Somebody asked the question, what time is it usually for Americans? It is usually 9 a.m. Eastern, East Coast time, right? That means we started about an hour and 14 minutes ago. And on Saturday and Sunday mornings is usually this sort of more chill, a couple of exercises, but mostly mobility, getting movement, trying to be unstiff stuff. All right. But my Monday through Sunday, it is currently 10:14 in New York. That's correct on the East Coast. But the show started at 9 a.m. We've gone for an hour and 14 minutes. The regular show, Monday through Sunday, so 7 days a week at 9 p.m. Eastern, so like 11-ish hours from now, we do side splits and hip mobility. All right. The hip mobility is stuff that looks a little bit more like this. Trying to get your legs through its full range of motion. We're doing some hamstring stretches. We're doing some elephant walks. We're doing, what else do we do? Butterfly stretches and figure fours, pigeons, and of course, we're doing some side splits. So if you're interested in working some lower body, it's going to be more intense than this show. So, it happens at night, hopefully, because you've done a whole bunch of stuff throughout the day and you're relatively active in comparison to the mornings. And that's at 9 p.m. Side splits, hip mobility, and consistency work. The goal of the evening work is to come in every day, at least for me, so that we can practice a little bit of consistency together. All right. If you like the idea of working on your hip mobility, if you like the idea of working on your side splits, if you like the idea of having a bunch of people stay online working on consistency together, then make sure to come back for that. That again is 9 p.m. Eastern time in about 11 hours, 10 hours and 44 minutes or something, 11 hours. And that happens every day, 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. So feel free to come back for that. Yeah, okay. Now that you know that, I make other content. Most of it is around trying to get a little bit of movement into your life. A lot of it can just be these chill joint circles. All right, because they help you move a little bit better, they help you feel a little bit better, and you don't really have to do that much crazy stuff. But if you can do some crazier stuff like calf raises, squats, and just integrate them throughout your day, sprinkle them in while you're waiting for your coffee, waiting for your microwave to heat up stuff, waiting for your toaster oven to air fry whatever it is that you're going to have for lunch, that is a wonderful way to use 2 minutes. We were doing some of those positions, the glute bridge, for like 45 seconds at one point, and you were like, ah! If you could do 45 seconds of glute bridges every time you heat up the microwave or you use the microwave, that would be a lot of glute bridges, right? And it would be really, 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 really intense. So don't sleep on those moments because they add up. And for most of us, it's going to be as much as we need anyway, right? Most of our fitness culture is built around building as much muscle as possible, doing, hypertrophy work. It's not realistically what most people actually need. It's just how our culture has been built around fitness. And aesthetics is important, but moving is probably actually more important for your actual life. All right. So get a little bit of movement in when you can. And now I'm done talking. Let's look at the comments. I'm gonna start on YouTube because usually it's a little bit shorter. NT Dits says, "Hi, are these calisthenics?" It's not really calisthenics. If we had to pick a place to, or a sports technique activity to put it in, it's probably closer to Pilates than it is to calisthenics. But we don't need to label it. If you're working on your back muscles and strengthening, it's not pull-ups, it's not rows, but you are contracting a whole bunch of back muscles. What else we got? Queen RR responds, Ken doesn't do calisthenics during their lives, but he does have some calisthenic tutorials on his channel, and if you have questions, he'll answer them during the Q&A. Thank you. Thank you for answering those questions for me. I appreciate it. All right. Nixie the Pixie says, well, good luck with stretches in the stream, guys. I'll join next time when I'm actually in the space for exercising. Oh, no. I'm sorry that it wasn't a good fit for you today, but I hope to see you tomorrow because we'll be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow to do some more. And Queen RR has said that exact thing to Nicey the Pixie. So thank you. All right. It's going up on TikTok. Chokol says thank you with 4 U's. Celine has clarified that the time is 10 something in New York. Great. Doris San says yes, stability issues. I think that came in when I was talking about finding like little moves to help wake up the body and get a little bit more comfortable. So good. What else we got? Vasella Bella says, thank you, SM. What's SM? New here. We'll be following the lives for sure. Amazing. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for jumping into the chat. Oh, SM is so much. That makes sense. Okay. I was like, who's SM? Dorzan says thank you. Houston Mommy says thank you so much. I'm gonna scroll up and see if there's any questions that came in throughout the live that I can address. What are we doing? D says those are the worst. Yes, absolutely. Wall angels are the absolute worst. But they addressed with a D. What am I talking about? They address the muscles that we tend to relax when we're doing a slouch. And to undo the hours that we're doing in a slouching form, it's gonna take a lot of work and it's not gonna be fun at all. So this is the moment where we get to suffer, where we suffer the consequences of doing this. All right. Houston Mommy says, came in late. What joint work did you do earlier? Hopefully, when I recapped all the different little tiny joint exercises we did, joint mobility movements that are not, supposed to make you super tired. They're not supposed to get you, super stressed out with your muscles going. "Urgh." Supposed to be relatively gentle. Jim Chang says, thank you for the stretches. You're very welcome. All right. We got some hearts. We got some love in the chat. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. Sharath sends awesome emojis and is crying because he says I'm late. And D says I'm always counting through his talking. Oh, you should let me know sometimes when I've talked way too long and just have no idea because I'm just trying to keep us all distracted from the actual count because I feel like counting sometimes can be brutal for your mental when I control the count anyway. So I just try to throw in some other stuff and then I get a little bit off into a tangent. So D says that was 45 seconds, Ken. Okay, hopefully that was a 30-second thing that turned into 45 seconds. So we've been doing 45 seconds the whole time, and you just thought it was 30 seconds and you made progress, but maybe you didn't. Vasella says, love the explanations. Good, 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 good. Shay says, yes. Smiley face. We got a bunch of thank yous. Amazing. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? I can't see the chat because I was all the way over there. Vasella says, any advice for better posture? And what else? Vasella says, sounds so simple, but I'm hooked. Good. Good, 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 good. That is the goal, is to help you realize that getting better movement doesn't have to be complex, doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need a whole bunch of equipment to do a lot of things that will help you make you feel a lot better. Ricky Stone's cool. Ricky Stone says your ceiling wall is so cool. I live on the top floor of a building, and the building has a roof, and so the weird shapes are because the roof cuts into my living space. But I appreciate that you think it's fun. S2A says it's hard to do this? Question mark exclamation point. If it's not hard for you, that's amazing. That means you got some really good mobility. You got some good core strength. For a lot of people in the world, we're not spending as much time taking care of our bodies as we probably should be. All right. And, we don't have to criticize or judge or anything. And I'm not implying that you are, but when you hang out in a lot of positions in normal life, when you kind of get stuck doing the same thing over and over again, it's really easy for weird things to start happening to your body. And for a lot of the movements that we did towards the end of our show, we're trying to address some of the muscles that kind of get a little funky from slouching. When we did the glute bridges, it was the same for if you sit a lot. When you sit a lot, your hamstrings, your glutes get squished and they stop kicking and they stop activating. And oftentimes, your low back, the next joint over, starts compensating for the fact that your glutes aren't doing any work. Oftentimes, that makes your low back very unhappy. Might not happen today, might not happen this year, but over the course of many, many, many years of having the same habits, your low back is going to get more and more and more tense until one day it's going to be like, hey, I'm really tense and this sucks. And you'll be like, what? It just happened overnight, but it's been building for the last decade. So that type of stuff happens all the time. And if you don't got that, amazing. But most people will have some version of my hips aren't working so good because I don't use my hips very much, right? Or sitting in the car, this is like the maximum range of motion. When you're sitting on a train, public transit, if you go anywhere other than that, you're just being an asshole. So if most of your life is stuck in this position, maybe this position, typing away on your phone, reading a book, whatever it is, a whole bunch of your muscles are going to get real stuck in being good at this position. All right, being chill in this position. Your posture is just the result of finding a chill, relaxing way to hang out in the positions that you're already in. If you had to sit in a chair for 10 hours a day and all of your muscles were kicking in trying to do like a straight back, all this stuff for the whole entire time, you know how exhausting that would be? You would not be able to focus on your studying, on your working, on whatever else stuff that you actually need to be doing. So your posture, your body adjusting, is just adapting to what you actually do. And that's okay because it's what you're actually doing. But sometimes when you're a little bit more conscious, when you're a little bit stronger, you can help undo some of it just a little bit. But realistically, you're fighting a tough fight, right? Bad posture comes from hanging out in the position that you consider bad posture. For most of us, that'll be this, and that is what it is. If your muscles get stronger, it'll be easier to undo it a little bit, but you just have to be conscious of it all the time and be like, oh, actually, I want to sit in this way. That's a lot more difficult. So fighting bad posture is hard. You can try your best. You can strengthen your muscles, and you can be more conscious of it. But you're fighting against this position that you're in for like 10 hours a day with 5 minutes of posture work, 30 minutes of posture work, an hour of posture work, an hour a week of posture work. So try your best to strengthen those muscles. But if it doesn't happen immediately, that's okay. That's probably how it should be. Cool. All right. we are done talking about posture. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. Very good toe grip. Oh wow, is that what we were talking about? Man, I had no idea where this is coming in. Jim says qigong movements. Do you do those too? I don't. I don't really know anything about qigong. I have done one class of tai chi, and there was a movement that looked like this, and it was really cool. It's like I don't actually know how it goes, so I'm probably butchering it real bad. Ignore that. Very good toe grip, Jim says. Good, thank you. What else? What else? What else? Oh wow, I thought I was done with the chat. There's so much more up here. What's up? Oh no, this came in pretty early. Is it too late to join? No, it's never too late to join. Come on in, hang out, do some exercise. Intent dweller, send some fun emojis. Okay, we are at the top of the chat. I don't know what I'm talking about. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? That's it. Cool. We got 43 people left on the chat. I think it's time for me to tell you to go home, or sorry, go somewhere else. I appreciate you for being here. I'm hopeful that you found something useful in the live that you can take into your lives. Not this live, but into your lives, your personal lives, and use to help you feel a little bit better. Just add a little bit of movement throughout your day. If you got something a little weird going on with your wrists, maybe it's just a little wrist rotation. If you got something weird going on with your elbows, maybe it's a little elbow rotation. Maybe if you can't lift your arms overhead anymore, you're like, wow, how do I get my arm up? Maybe it's some arm circles, right? Maybe if your spine feels stiff all the time, actually, I forgot to do this today. We can let your shoulders pull you into some rotation and let your arms sort of flop around. We had a comment about Qigong earlier. This is definitely a lot more Asian granny style stuff, but giving yourself a nice little tap on either sides, letting your shoulders to push that rotation in the spine, getting a little tiny bit of gentle movement to wake up your back, to undo some of the stiffness in the muscles that we just worked so hard to get them really stiff and tense, right? All these muscles going up the spine. If you add a little bit of rotation, a little bit of wiggling, a little bit of flopping, those muscles are also relaxed a little bit and help you to chill from the Supermans that we were doing and the glute bridges that we were doing. Cool? All right. So add that in. Do a little wiggle, do a little flop, shake it out, and I hope you all move a little bit better. All right, that's it. We're wrapping up. We have another live at 9 p.m., so in 10 and a half hours. Feel free to come back for that. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoy good weather if it's good weather outside, and hope you spend times with the people you care about, because what else is life worth living for? Cool. All right, closing out. I'll see you guys soon.